Okay, test. I think we're good. A little bit of a different mic setup here. It's one thing I'm never satisfied with in a lot of my videos is I'm always trying to get the audio just a little bit better each time. So hopefully this sounds good for you guys. Hey guys, Ryan here. This video is going to be a little bit different. I had somebody reach out to me. Many of you know who he is. Mike Garrison from LiveRC. He had a list of questions for me. I think you've seen him before. He kind of does like a driver profile and he asks just a bunch of in-depth questions about them. And he does a really good job. I went ahead and I looked at the questions he prepared for me. And Mike, thank you very much for the opportunity and the incredibly detailed questions. You definitely kind of stalked me there on social media. So I'm really excited to answer these questions. Hopefully those of you that are watching, go ahead and follow the LiveRC page and any of the stuff that Mike puts out there. He works really hard for that stuff. So thank you again for the opportunity, and let's just jump right into it. Just so I get the title of it right, it's the Talk It Up Tuesday is what it is. So got a list of questions here. I'm going to start reading them off, and I'll do my best to answer them. LiveRC says, welcome Ryan to this week's edition of Talk It Up Tuesday. Let's start at the very beginning of your career in RC. When, where, how, and why did you get started in RC car racing to begin with? So let's see. The short answer is just my dad. He was doing RC before I was born, back in the early and mid 80s, and it was off-road. I think he had like RC10, the gold tub car, and maybe a truck. Not really sure on the details on that one. And I know he was doing it for a period of time when I was born. Obviously, I couldn't do it for the first few years of my life, but there was a picture of me when I was about 3 years old. If I find it, I'll put it up on the screen. And it, I had a little yellow Tyco RC car, and he said that I really gravitated towards it and I wouldn't stop playing with the thing. So he eventually let me start breaking some of his more expensive cars and just kind of taking it from there. So that was back, I was born in Tucson, Arizona. My dad was in the Coast Guard and the military, so we moved a lot. So when we came down here to Florida, that's kind of where I started playing with the bigger ones. But I didn't start racing until I think I was about 8 or 9, and that was when we were in San Diego, California. And I remember that there was a local hobby shop that had a dirt track, and I went out there and I raced that. Actually, oh, hang on. I have the card from the first like race kit that my dad got me. I remember I was so excited. So this guy here, Triple XCR Brian Kinwald edition. I remember seeing some guys drive it at the track, and I was so just like jealous because it had the blue springs and had all the hop-up parts on it, and it said graphite on the chassis and stuff like that. I still have the car. It's a little bit torn apart right now, or otherwise I'd show you guys. But that was definitely my first start in like being serious and racing an RC car. So pretty cool. All right, moving on. Next question. What is some of your most memorable moments as an RC racer? That's a tough one. Probably my favorite memory, not to get too sappy on you guys, would be with my late father. And we were racing in the monster truck class. The Nitro monster truck class was before the Truggy class existed. And I had my Savage, HPI Savage SS, and he had one too. And we were out at our local track. It's no longer there, Minreg. And it was a Friday night, and it was a practice night. And we were just out there ripping, having fun. And for a while at that point in my life, I was decidedly faster than my dad. You know, I was progressed from a little kid when I wasn't as fast, and then I got to be faster than him. But on that night, I have no idea why, he just turned it up and I could not catch him. I would, normally do the thing if we were doing hot laps together where I would let him get in front and then I would work on passing him. Well, for the life of me, I could not keep up with him. And there wasn't anything wrong with my truck, and his truck wasn't any better than mine. They were pretty straightforward trucks. And he just wheeled it, and I just couldn't remember, and I just couldn't believe that he was just putting it to me. And it was really cool. It was really fun, really fond memory. I wasn't very happy that night. I was all grumpy about it, but looking back on it, it was such a fond memory. Another one would probably be all the time that my dad spent taking me to a local empty parking lot. And we would have these little yellow dots, the little round, like kind of soft plastic dots that we would lay out in the parking lot. And it was kind of the way that my dad was trying to teach me, here's how you put a series of corners together. And then he would time me with his stopwatch. And then he would just see if I could get faster and faster and faster. And I did it with one of the cars that's up here is my Tamiya FF02. And if you know anything about front wheel drive cars, is that those things do not accelerate quickly, and they are really all about carrying momentum. So I would attribute a lot of my early knowledge of corner speed to the parking lot days with that Tamiya FF02. That would definitely be one of the more memorable things, because all the big races, they kind of blend together from time to time. And the more fond memories are definitely me racing with my dad. Next question. Most people in the RC industry know you for your extremely high quality, informative, and entertaining YouTube channel. When, where, how, and why did you decide to pursue an RC-based YouTube channel? Thank you. I try my best to make the channel look good. I'm always never satisfied with it, so it's funny when other people say that. Thank you. And thank you everyone else that says the same thing. It's very encouraging. Why did I start it all? I don't want to say that I thought the RC industry needed it and I'm giving myself some sort of hero complex and I have some sort of big, massive ego, because that just sounds really gross and it's not true. But I did see a need for more people to just broadcast the message that is RC to the world, because not many people know about it. I know I've said that before on my channel. When I got back into it, I had a hiatus of about 8 or 9 years where I had to stop because I moved out, couldn't afford RC anymore, kind of established myself as an adult here in my later recent years, and then I was able to get back into it. But then I kind of noticed, I was like, man, there's a YouTube channel for everything out there, and there's tons and tons and tons of them. So when I got back in, I noticed that there was we had the Jason Snyder, and J Concepts was putting out a lot of content, but it wasn't really dialed in specifically to one person. And there's a few other channels out there that are doing some stuff for the bashers and the crawlers and some other elements of RC, but I really didn't see anyone that was trying to pursue the heavy passion for the racing side of RC. So it was a little bit of a creative freedom, a creative outlet. I get to create my own content and have some fun with it. And then I really like to think that it's helping people find something that they can enjoy that's a little bit constructive. My favorite feedback that I get are when I hear a dad or a son or something like that, where they'll send me a message and they just say something really simple like, thank you so much. You have no idea how much we have enjoyed learning about RC because of the content that you put out. And then it helps us enjoy RC together. Because I was just saying about all those fond memories, I mean, that stuff is the foundation of why I do what I do and who I am. So if I can have a part of that in anyone else's life, that's just awesome and mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned. The question would also arise oh, are you doing it for the money? The amount of money I'll spend on one weekend of racing far out surpasses the amount of money that I would get back from YouTube. If you look at my channel right now, I'm at about 15,000 subscribers, and that is laughable compared to all the other world of YouTube. I don't think that anyone can seriously consider this as a viable income until you're way past 100,000 subscribers, and even then it's still a little sketchy, and I just don't think that's ever going to happen with our industry. So right now, why am I doing it? Just to help people connect with the hobby and then hopefully connect with each other as a family. All right. Next question. What is your most popular video to date, and why do you feel it is the most popular? So I believe it kind of switches from time to time based on the current moment. Right at this moment, the how to go faster video is my most popular, and I think my second one is the 17.5 and 13.5 speed secrets video. I think that those two videos are as popular as they are because the first thing that people kind of realize or face a problem with on race day is because RC racing is based on the spirit of competition and people want to go faster. And I think a lot of times some of the things they feel like they're these hidden secrets and people aren't really exposing them. So if they can find the information online, maybe it'll help them understand something that they don't, find that extra speed, grip, setup, whatever, and it will help them do better on race day. So I think that it's just the very simple necessity of we're in the spirit of competition, and that content is directly correlated to that. So hopefully it's helped a lot of people out there. I think it has, because I don't really like the idea of keeping secrets at the end of the day, because a world-class driver like Ryan Mayfield, Jared Tebow, Ryan Cavallari, whoever, Spencer Rivkin, you could put any of those guys, give them my radio right now on the same exact track, and I guarantee you, they've literally done this. They drive it faster than I do. So same car, same setup, same everything, and then their driving ability takes it to the next level. So yes, that setup stuff and speed secrets are important, but driving ability and consistency is always going to win in the end. So hopefully I'll make a video on that in the future, and that could become the most popular. We'll see. Producing quality videos is not an easy task. No, it's not. How much time on average would you say it takes for you to produce a video from start to finish? That one's always a tough one. For example, my most recent video, if you could look at it, the Change My Mind, trucks are more fun than buggies. That video I sat on for probably at least 3 weeks. I had the project sequence all laid out, and I kept tweaking it, and there'd be things I didn't like, and I kept remaking it, and then I finally just got to a point where I was like, Ryan, you haven't put any content out in so long. You just need to button it up and push it out. I'm kind of obsessed with my own, trying to get it as perfect as I know how I can. The best content that I can put out, I always strive to put that content out. I don't like to take shortcuts. So really it boils down to the creative process and how happy I am with what I'm seeing. So sometimes a video will take me from start to finish, shoot time, editing, and posting. It could be a total of maybe 3 to 4 hours, and that's like super fast. But other times I might spend a lot more on it, but it's really subjective. It just depends on my particular mood and how easy the content is going together. Sorry, I know that's not a clean cut and dry answer, but that's the best I can do. Okay, let's see. We are guessing from the quality of picture, sound, and overall production that you aren't shooting with a worn out iPhone. No, I'm not. I actually did a video on it, how I make YouTube videos, and I listed out all of the stuff that I was using at the time, and most of that is still pretty accurate as of now. I'm using a Canon 5D Mark IV at the time. It's a pretty solid camera at the time of this video. Most of the time I try to shoot it in 4K if I have the time. It takes me a little bit longer to render that stuff out usually, so I have to judge how long. If I have to shoot in 1080 to go quicker, I will, but I try to shoot everything in 4K. So Canon 5D Mark IV. My audio setup is constantly changing. For I think most scenarios I will use a shotgun mic. And then I wire that into my Zune H6. That gives me the separate audio file, and I can dial it in, keep it a little bit cleaner. Audio on the DSLRs is usually pretty garbage. It doesn't work that well, and it's super far away, so it sounds like a tin can. So trying to get that dialed in. My light is an Aperture 120D Mark II. So that thing is more expensive than most cheap DSLRs out there. So I really tried a lot to make it look like a quality production. So when I do all of my B-roll shots for my chassis and stuff like that, I have all this stuff rigged up and make it look real nice and clean and special so that I give you guys a really nice, sharp look of the product that I'm talking about. I really do my best to represent that stuff to the best of my ability. So I know that's a lot of stuff, but it's technically everything that goes into every shot that you see. Next question. Was the Ryan Harris RC channel your first attempt at producing videos, or do you have prior background knowledge and experience in this department? So I've kind of been in the production side or the content creation side as my career for the past 6 or 7 years. Short story, I was a warehouse manager many years ago, and I started taking Instagram seriously as a joke with my friends. And basically, it was like, oh, I bet I could get more likes than you. No, I will. So we started taking pictures with strictly our DSLRs, and my work at the time saw that. They checked out my feed on my Instagram, and they said, whoa, Ryan, your stuff looks really good. Would you ever consider doing that for us? I was like, yeah, sure. It's a small family-run business, and they were like, well, why don't you stop doing what you're doing, and then we'll bring you on full-time to work on the web side of it. And I was like, oh, sweet, let's do it. So I started learning how to make videos and take professional pictures and stuff like that. And then it's kind of progressed from there. Fast forward to current day, I am like a content director for a real estate brokerage in-house. I help all the agents with a lot of their marketing, and I do the marketing for that brokerage and a few other businesses as well. So it's kind of basically what I like to do in general. If I'm not doing RC, I'm usually doing something with a camera. What is your ultimate goal for each of your videos and the Ryan Harris RC channel? I think I touched on that. I really want families to connect and do something that is constructive together. I know that I think a lot of parents out there, they kind of feel a disconnect with their kids right now because technology and video games, and they may not enjoy that stuff, so they find it hard to connect with their kids. So if they can get connected in this area, I think that it's a really awesome building block for the rest of their future. Problem solving, just working on the cars together, and just spending time with your family. I think it's awesome. So that's my end goal, is that I would just help create more opportunities for that. With so many videos, how do you choose what your next video will be about? Oh gosh. Sometimes I have to sit down and really think hard, like, what have I not done? What would do well? What's like a trending topic right now? It's really honestly random and kind of spur of the moment. If it boils down to, can I get good looking B-roll of it? Can I talk about it? Do I know enough about it? And are there enough other people out there that enjoy it so that it would be watchable, consumable content? I think a lot of the times I'll get comments of people asking me to do particular videos, but the audience and the interest is so narrow that it's hard for me to justify spending the time on it, the whole song and dance of the production to, reach so little people. They're not bad ideas. It's just, I don't have that much time. So I always try to reach as many people as I possibly can with each video. Let's see. If you could change one thing in the RC industry, what would it be and why? Oh gosh. There's a lot of things that I think could use tweaking and adjusting. Probably one thing that would be consistent with my own kind of like message is that I wish more people would seize the opportunity of starting a YouTube channel, being really vocal in social media, because I think that the amount of money and effort that a lot of the brands out there, and I say this with utmost respect, I know everyone has a different game plan for success, so I'm trying to say this as respectfully as possible to all my sponsors and other individuals out there. The amount of people that just go out and consume a race budget and they're sponsored, but then really don't do a whole lot to impact the industry, I really sit there and question why. When I'm going to shout out one kid, I love him, and he doesn't have that many subscribers, Willie T, I think, Willie TRC. He's put up just a few videos, but I've seen the effort, he understands it. He sees that he wants to make content like what I'm doing, what he's seen other people do. And it doesn't matter if he loses, breaks, or whatever on race day. The fact that he is a respectable individual, he's composing himself in front of a camera, and he's putting out the best production that he knows how so that it's entertaining and informative. I really hope that in the future, like in the next 5 years, that all of the major brands will kind of take like, let's look at how many our total budget, 100% of our budget that's going towards factory drivers. We need to take a slice of it, and we need to either put it in there if it doesn't exist, or make it a little bit bigger and find people that are willing to do this kind of content. Mitch, you're another one out there. I'll link those 2 channels that I've done down below. He's over in the UK. He does a phenomenal job. He's reached out to me and he's trying to do a lot of stuff. And I think that those are people that we should promote more to help the overall reach of the message of RC. So less factory drivers with budgets that aren't really doing much to impact the industry other than a very weak race report whenever they feel like it. More people that are putting in a effort to reach a much larger audience. What is your favorite form of racing other than RC? Motocross. I have the NBC Sports Gold Pass, whatever, and that was awesome. I watched all the Supercross season, and then now watching the motocross is really cool. And it's such an interesting world that we live in. I follow another YouTuber. He doesn't know who I am, but Jeff Walker. Shout out if you guys are following him. He got to go out to one of the races here recently, and he's been trying to get on the starting gate, qualify into the main event in the 450 class with the pros. And he's kind of like an amateur privateer guy. I think he just recently picked up a sponsor or 2, but seeing him, like, if you watch that and then you're like, oh yeah, there goes Eli Tomac doing crazy things, and Ken Roczen, they're just ripping it, and whatever, and they're passing that back marker that's going nowhere. It's interesting to see like a story unfold of one of those back markers. They're actually really fast at their local scene, and the amount of heart and soul and effort that he put in, literal blood, sweat, and tears, just to start, what was it, like 38th. That was so cool to see and be a part of because of a platform like YouTube. So again, just helps people buy into different forms of racing and areas of interest when there are people that are doing things like this. It just provides a very unique, awesome opportunity for it to grow. So yeah. Favorite RC car of all time? Ooh. I probably have to pick the one that I have the most memories with. Actually, it's probably going to be that car that sits right up there on the middle, the Martini Alfa Romeo car. It's Tamiya. It's the TA03 David Jun edition. I remember when my dad got that, and at the old Tamiya America track, he got it because he qualified to, I don't know what it was. It wasn't Nationals. It was some whatever big race for the TCS series out at that track, and I just remember it being our first like big effort race, and I have so many fond memories of that car. And it was back when the cars still looked like something real and not whatever the heck they look like now. So I really like that car. It has a very special place in my heart. I remember working on it. I remember wiring it up for him. I remember taking it out to the track with our family, and my uncle was sitting there holding it upside down to get the tires warmed up before he went out there. And I don't know, that car, I love the way it looks, and it just has a lot of good memories tied to it. What is your profession outside of the RC and YouTube world? I already alluded to that. I am the content director for a real estate brokerage, and I'll be continuing to do that for the foreseeable future. All right, let's see. Getting close to the end here. What is one thing most people don't know about Ryan Stiles Harris? Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably the fact that I have lots of shoes. Some of you may have noticed, based on like the brands that I wear, that I might be some of those people. What are they called now? Hype beast. So I have like 2 pairs of Yeezys, a bunch of old Nike Dunk SB, the Quick Strikes, a couple different Jordans. Gosh, I have tons and tons of shoes, and it's kind of like my weakness is that if I see a new shoe that's really cool, it's kind of like, oh dang, gotta have it. So my wife probably hates me for that, but bless her heart, she doesn't make me get rid of them, I guess. So. All right, looks like the last question here, wrapping up. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure getting to chat with you. Same to you. We know you have lots of work and more videos to edit and be finishing up, so we will let you get back to it. Thank you. Is there anything you would like to add before we go? Mike, thank you so much. These questions were great. You obviously put a lot of effort into making these very personal and give me a tremendous opportunity to kind of express myself. So thank you very much. I want everybody out there to not fall into the trap of you got to be sponsored, you got to win, you got to have a race report that looks successful. Everything has to be perfect, because in reality, none of that is possible on a regular basis. I hope that we all have our opportunities of being on the top step of the podium and whatnot, but honestly, I just hope that everyone can find the reasons and really hold on to them as to why we really love this hobby. For me, it feels like the ability to kind of carry on the legacy of my dad and helping other people find something that they enjoy, because I know that he did it to escape the not so fun parts of like work and the world, and it was an opportunity for him to connect with his family and kind of teach me life lessons and values along the way. So I would just hope that people can find all of the wholesome, right reasons to continue enjoying this hobby, so that they won't burn out and do it for all the wrong reasons. So, well, I think that's going to be it for this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry if I rambled on and on, but I thought these questions were really great, so I definitely wanted to take my time and respond to all of them for you guys. If there's anything else that you want to know about me, you could drop it down in a comment below, wherever this video is. I know that Mike's going to put it up on his website. You might see it on Facebook. You might see it on YouTube. Not really sure, but regardless, thanks again, Mike, for the opportunity. Thank all you guys for even following me so that this would be an opportunity. Without you guys, this wouldn't even be happening. So thank you all so much. It's always great when you like the video and subscribe for future content. That means that there's going to be a future for this stuff. So that's going to be it for this one. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.